Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap. Um, as always, we're having a little technical difficulty, but we're on now. Um, again, my name is Ramont Williams. I'm your host on tonight's topic. We're going to keep it simple tonight. I'm running kind of behind time, so I need to get this in and get it done with so it can be recorded. For any of you that wish to come on, the scan code QR code is up in the right hand corner. You can scan it. You follow the link, and you'll pop on, and I'll bring you on. Okay. With that being said, today's topic is back to basics. We're going to watch a video here, and then we're going to get right into this, and you tell me what you think. Okay, so here we go. Let's share the screen. Let's go to Facebook. No, not that one. Let's go to this one. Share. And here we go.
And I learned that in therapy, that for me to manifest the man that I wanted in my life, I had to learn how to always speak to him like the man I wanted in my life, even when I'm mad at him.
Teach that shit.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn how to speak to the man that I wanted in my life all the time. I needed to speak to him as that man. Even when we get upset with each other, there are rules. We don't hit below the belt. Like, it's a lot of things and a lot of growing that I've done, but we've all got to get to that place. As Black women, we've got to get back to a place where we are respecting them. Because I can't expect you to show up and protect and love and provide, and I don't even know how to talk to you.
That's a little clip that I found I liked, that had a lot of purpose to it. It wasn't specific about getting back to the basics, but it was basically a sister talking about how do you expect as a woman, a man to show up and do the things that you expect him to do when you don't show that man any type of respect. So if we go back, let's go back a little bit and talk about basics. I remember growing up, and I'm in my early 60s, how men courted women. Women worked certain jobs, men would patronize the jobs just in order to date the woman. And you would go to parks, you would go to amusement parks, have picnics and things, simple things, but it had purpose, it had meaning. Today people are not doing that, and particularly I hate to say it, but it's particularly women. So as I've heard, it's women, it's men that's doing it too, but it's not something that's highly publicized. So let's, again, let me put my disclaimer out there. I'm only talking about the women that this applies to. I'm not talking about every woman. So please don't start inboxing me talking about I'm slandering women again and I'm putting women down. What about men doing this? What about men doing that? If you have a comment that you feel I need to touch bases on, then inbox me. I put my number up on the screen. You can call me, text me, however you choose to get in touch with me. That's solely on you. Okay. Hey, sit down and be quiet. So my thing is that this video right here, getting back to basics, y'all have to excuse me. I have my daughter here, and she's less than 2 years old. So, keeping her on point is something. it's going to be kind of difficult to do so. Anyhow, when we put all these stipulations on what a person has to be, then it takes out of the quality, in my opinion, of what a relationship will manifest to be. When give you an example, if a man says that a woman has to have a BBL butt, she has to have luscious lips, she has to have voluptuous breast, and she her anatomy has to fit a certain stereotype, or he's not interested in marrying her because he's not drawn to her or physically attracted to her, then these are stipulations that's unrealistic, because all women are not built like that. Now granted, you can spend several $1,000s and go in any doctor and make you look any way you want to, like the Kardashians and some of these other women that have had these extreme body makeovers. But the reality of it is, it's so superficial and so unrealistic. This is the reason it's become so popular and people are jumping on board, because no one wants to be original. They don't want to go back to the basics of things. They want to do what everybody else is doing. So when it comes to women, they're saying that men must make 6 figures. Okay, it's funny to me how you can be working in my new job making $35,000 with 2-3 kids, 2 different baby daddies, but you expect a man to come in, making an exuberant amount of money to take care of you and somebody else's children. That's unrealistic, and you're on Section 8. So when we do the comparison with both men and women, we see that it's so unrealistic from both sides. What happened to just liking a person because of their, the rare qualities that they possess, their smile, the way they talk, their personality. What happened to those qualities? Those qualities are pretty much taboo in today's time and era. But I think, and I'm speaking of my own experience right now, I think if we get back to the basics, if and I'm saying from a man to a woman, if a woman would have a more open mind and not embrace this ideology, or have this modern day perspective about a man has to fit in all these categories before she even consider dating him or trying to pursue a relationship, we're never going to get anywhere. Okay, because now most men, not all men, are very particular about even approaching women, trying to start conversations with them. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because men operate on the premises of respect. Men, have pride, ego, just like women do. And men are not apt to be embarrassed by women because they know the mindset that women have, especially when they're with their girlfriends. So men have the tendency of shying away, watching from afar. Usually, if the woman doesn't initiate any type of dialogue, then there's never none. And I'm not saying that all men are like that, because all men are not. A lot of men will, try to talk a bird out of a tree, but most men today are not like that. Okay, so no, don't do that. Put it down. Put it down. And so what we have to do is, and I'm getting kind of distracted here with this child, but we need to get back to the basics. I would like to meet a woman that has traditional values, good morals, not these modern day morals where you can go and screw the whole half of the town and then go to church, sing in the choir, do praise dances, and then be forgiven of everything. Like it just all goes away. No, I'm not talking about those type of women. Women that want simple things. A good man that works, that's loyal, committed, consistent. And I hear this thing, consistency, all the time, and it mostly comes from the opposite gender of men. Consistent. You can't expect. And this is just me. I'm not speaking for all men. I'm speaking of me. You can't expect me to be consistent with you when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You know, it's one thing to court you, it's another thing to chase you unrealistically when I'm investing the time and you're not reciprocating that time or that energy. And I've talked to several women like that. Okay. And it's not fair to us men, because you have these unrealistic expectations of what men should and shouldn't do. And if they don't do it the way you require that it be done, then there's no chance. A man is basically just spinning his wheels. Okay. And I don't like that, because if I'm gonna put the energy to call you, which a lot of people are so outdated when it comes to this new technology, they don't be quiet. They don't want to talk on the phone. Why do you think they invented phones? Why do you think they invented video chat? So I can sit here and see you. I can see your expression when I convey certain thoughts to you. Texting, and I have to emphasize this, texting, all you people, both men and women, that require people to text, this is my belief system. For one, number one reason, you're hiding something. Okay. Number two reason, you're not very versed when it comes to grammar and punctuations. So why would you want to do this acronym, Ebonics thing, where you're constantly texting? It takes more time to sit here and look at these small keys, because most people's fingertips are 10 times the size of the keys. Okay, where you got to keep texting, erasing and retexting, when we can just get on the phone, have a 5-10 minute phone conversation, as opposed to just sitting there texting. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, I'm at work, I'm doing things. It's a way you can keep a conversation going. Well, I think it's very rude when you start a conversation through texting, you ghost a person, and then you pop back up 30-40 minutes later while you got a person sitting here. I said, be quiet. Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. Bye. Get out. I think it's very unfair that you do that. You know, if you're going to hold a conversation, at least hold a conversation. If you have to run to the store, or someone just rung the doorbell and you have to go and do something, at least grant that person the common courtesy to say, hey, I just got company, I'm gonna have to hit you back. Is that fine? You know, or I have to run to the store, I'm trying to make a meal, whatever the case may be. Don't just disappear and pop back up 2 hours later and say, where are you at? Where the hell do I supposed to be at? I'm not going to sit here and just hold my phone like my life depends on your next text. And I think this is the assumption of a lot of people that like doing all this texting. I personally don't like doing it. I do it, but I don't like doing it. I wish they would just get rid of texting and go back to the days of old, days of basics. You know, telephone calls. What's wrong with a phone call? If you're that busy where you can't talk on the phone, then you don't need to communicate with anybody. It's just that simple. Wait till you go and get on the shitter or get in the tub and then pick up the phone. Then at least we know you're stationary and you can't move and you're not preoccupied with a lot of things. So my thing is this. If men and women both would approach this relationship thing with a more positive and constructive outlook, I think this fad that's overshadowing, that's superseding the relationships of past will diminish. Like everything that has come into style into our civilization had a time. It has come and it has gone. The same thing with the mindsets of people now. The six-figure thing, people have to fit in this type of category. It's gonna go away. And if you people that's partaking in this, whether you're a man or a woman, and you don't get back to basics, what's going to happen is when this thing run its course, and it's running its course now, because you got so many women getting on fighting for the rights of men, and you got men that's speaking up for the rights of women. So once this thing parallels, and it takes off, then you're going to get left in the dust. Now, when you come trying to plead, because no one even wants to hear your plea anymore, your demand about 6 figures, when you're not making nowhere near 6 figures, when you're on Section 8, when you don't have a decent car, you don't have a decent career, you got 50 kids and 20 baby daddies. No one is going to even want to interact with you or relate to you. It's just that simple. Okay, so what we have to do is, let's make these people obsolete, both men and women. Let's pull our resources together and collectively come together to say, you know what, I remember when my mom or dad or my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle and aunt, they would go and sit at the park, have a picnic basket, listen to music. We have the technology. We don't need the big boom boxes anymore. We have the resources. It's just we don't have the mindset. I asked the lady one time, I said, well, why don't we go and do a picnic? Something simple, sandwiches, something, whatever you choose, and just hang out and talk and get to know each other. And you know what she told me? Her response was, I'm not going to sit in no nasty park and get my clothes dirty. Well, what did they make washing machines for? If you're so elegant, and so high profile, why are you single? Why is it so difficult for you women that make these unrealistic demands to have a man? You don't, and you never will. You're a fuck toy, if anything. And granted, it may be a selected individual or individuals, whether they're locally or spread it out throughout the United States, if you have the leisure to travel that no one knows about, that you don't talk about. But see, once that man pulls out of you, and once you separate from that intimate bond for the moment, you're still left with those thoughts of you being nasty, disgraceful, and not valued because of your mindset. And it's no more right for a man to go and hump on a bunch of women like days of old and be called a player. We got too many diseases out here. And I'm not talking about diseases you can go and get a shot for. I'm talking about stuff that's taking you out within a matter of months. So if you want to play Russian roulette with your life, then by all means do what you do. You're grown. You're entitled to that. But what I'm saying is, my plea to you, your listeners, the people that's on tonight, the people that may see this video at a later date, let's pull our resources together and make this mindset obsolete. A woman shouldn't judge me based upon how much money I work. If I have my own house, I have my own cars, I have my own credit cards, I'm able to provide for a family, to build an infrastructure, to protect and build on that infrastructure, then that's all a woman should be concerned about. Yeah, we all want food in our refrigerators. We want decent cars. We want a nice house, nice furniture. We want our kids to dress nice. But come on, people, you have to be more realistic than that. Everybody's not going to live in this type of house right here. They're not. That's just the reality. I don't care how much you beg, you demand. You will never live in this type of home. You will never set foot in this type of home unless you hit the lottery. And the chances of you hitting the lottery is 1 in a billion. So my plea to you again is, for those of you that's watching, jump on this bandwagon. Let's make this mindset obsolete. Just like platforms, you're not going to see anybody walking down the streets, no man with a big afro, bell bottoms and long lapels hanging down to his waist. And platforms, let's make this mindset obsolete. It's destroying our culture. No matter if it's your brother, your uncle, your father, if they think like this, your sister, your mother, then let's push them aside and let them know we need to get back to the basics of things. How often do you go places and see people holding hands, couples together? You don't. And usually if you see a man and woman together, even if they're in a relationship, it's on the rocks. And they're only doing it to keep face because of their egos and their prides, and they don't want people to say, well, I knew it wasn't going to work. So let's push these people aside. Okay, let's start speaking out, joining these platforms, whether it's mine or someone else's or yours that you want to create, and let people know we're no longer participating in these reindeer games. That's what I like to call them, reindeer games. It's adolescent. Okay. And it's not beneficial to anybody because you have two things, two purposes. You have intention and intent, two different things. The words are similar, but they mean two different things. So if your intent is different from your intentions, which they should be, or they should be in line with each other, then we have a problem. It's like the old analogy, Houston, we have a problem. Something is direly wrong here. You know, who, once you get to a certain age, now I understand you young people that may be in your 20s and 30s, you feel you got your whole life ahead of you so you can continue to play these games. But see, no man knoweth the day or the hour. So keep thinking you're going to live to be Methuselah's age or Moses' age. So many people, famous, wealthy, well-renowned people are dying in their 30s and their 40s. They're not even reaching my age. I thank God every day I open my eyes. It's a blessing. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with another day, because I know today somebody didn't wake up. I don't know in what part of the world, what city, but they did not wake up. Their ticket was pulled. And given the fact that I've been through all the things that I've been through in my life, it's a blessing that I'm still here, that I'm able to live in what I call my luxury. It may not be the luxury for everybody in the world, but it's my luxury because I created it. Through my blood, sweat, and tears, this is mine. No one gave me this. I didn't inherit this. It didn't come through a trust fund. And as Charlie Wilson says in his song, what is a king to have a castle without a queen? But what is a queen to own a country and not have a king? So keep with these mindsets that, you know, these worldly possessions bring you true happiness, and it doesn't. The wealthy, the rich and famous show you this all the time, because if money solved everything and made everybody happy, why is the divorce rate so high? Why are people committing suicide? Why are people, you know, doing the things they're doing, committing infidelity, the whole 9 yards? Money is just one segment of this thing we call life that we need to utilize in order to sustain our life or our lifestyles. That's all it is. Granted, yeah, we would all like to go to Macy's and Nordstrom and shop and buy all this overpriced stuff. But what's wrong with the Boulevard Mall? What's wrong with Walmart? What's wrong with TJ Maxx? Oh, I forgot. You all grew up in the projects like me, but you're so high and mighty that these are places that's beneath you because you're trying to impress somebody. But here's the thing that I want to share with you that I just read, and studies have proven this, that when people have this mindset, it deteriorates a certain enzyme in their brains, and it makes you age and wither from within. So all the people that are stressing this nonsense and putting these unrealistic categories and up that a man or a woman has to fit in, you're not going to be around long to, and I'm not God, and I'm not trying to predict when you will or won't be here. What I'm simply saying is you're destroying your mind and your body from the inside by even having these mindsets, because it goes against what God has ordained or put in place to be. Okay. Now you can use all your academic accolades, all your worldly wisdom, and say, you know what, screw God, there's no God, because you're an atheist and you believe the way you believe. But then here's the sad thing about all that, you non-believers. When things happen, I've seen it in movies, I've seen it in real life, the first thing they holler is, oh my God. So if you don't believe in God and you think he's just a puff of smoke, why do you call him in a time of need? Why do you infidels and you fake people that promote this delusional image in public get behind closed doors and you pray? What if walls could talk? I think the majority of the world will walk around in shame. A lot of you have a lot of skeletons in the closets that you need to release. And I think a lot of you refuse to be in realistic relationships because of that. We've all suffered hurt. We've all suffered disappointment. We've all had some pain. We've all been through some trauma. A lot of us needed therapy. I had to get mine. And then a lot of people just rebound from certain instances in their life where other people can't. And the reason I feel you can't rebound from certain instances in your life, because you're holding on to something that's meaningless. I hear so many women saying, well, when I was little, I was raped. It was wrong for anyone to have touched you or violated you in any manner that was not based on your consent, especially if you were a child. And even as an adult, even the same thing. But as you grow older, and I'm not a woman, so I can't say how I would really feel, but I do know that there's a lot of things that transpired in my life that I should have been traumatized by. But see, I came to this realization a long time ago. God just gave me the strength to endure what it is that you're allowing me to go through. See, I'm not going to walk around with that as a cloak to have people empathize with me, whether it was my choice or whether it was forced on me. And it's the same thing with these relationships. You can't be in a productive relationship if you're bringing all this baggage to a relationship. I know so many people, both men and women, talk so much nonsense about they're not afraid of nothing, they can do this. You really think if you listen to them, you think they can just stand still and jump on the moon. But realistically, they can't. They're no different than any other man or woman. They have no more greater powers than any other man or woman. They have no more intellect than any other man or woman. See, but this is the problem I see when it comes to relationships. Because usually people talk to their confidants or people they trust about things that's transpiring or that has transpired in their lives. Oftentimes, people give them advice because they're championing their thought process, their ideologies. Because that analogy, birds of a feather flock together, that's true. You don't see people hanging out with each other that don't have things in common. When people usually hang out, that's because they have something in common with each other. So when you have besties that champion your bullshit thoughts instead of telling you the truth because they don't want to hurt your feelings oh, she's been through too many things. He's been through too many things. I don't want to bring any trauma to his life or her life. That's BS. They're doing more harm than benefit, in my opinion. As I've gotten older, I've learned to kind of reserve my opinions about a lot of things that I see. Now, if you ask me, you get it unadulterated, uncut. You know, I used to have a lot of people tell me this when I was a motivational speaker at one time. I was an advocate for youth, disadvantaged youth. And people would tell me, oh, Ramon, you know, man, you have to tone it down some, man. You know, what you're saying is real, but it's the way you project it. And I started changing who I was to appease people. And then I became what people wanted me to be. They championed what they wanted me to become, until I had that harsh reality. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. That's not me. I've never been fake in my life. Made a lot of bad choices in my life. Never been scandalous. None of those things. So with that being said, I'm the same way to this day, just a little bit more reserved with it. Don't go out a lot. Because people say ain't nothing in those streets. Well, see, here's the reality about the streets. Okay. And this is all tied into relationship. The streets are not bad. It's the people in the streets. See, because the governor hangs in the streets, the mayor hangs in the streets, the police chief hangs in the streets, police officers hang in the streets, preachers hang in the streets, doctors hang in the streets, nurses hang in the streets. It's just the demographics in which they choose to hang determines the outcome and where they go and who they entertain or being entertained by. You don't have to go to work and hide in the house. That's a matter of choice. Now, if you're going somewhere where you know it's a bunch of ignorant people at, then you can always expect something to happen in the streets. But one of the reasons I don't go out is because of the mindsets. You know, I don't want to get into a verbal confrontation. In fact, I'm going to share something with you that every day I reach out to women on social media, not social media, but Messenger and stuff like that. I make it perfectly clear that I'm not trying to hit on them. I just want to ask them questions. Okay. I asked the lady who hit me up this morning on Facebook, and I asked her, I said, yeah, okay, but on another note, may I ask you a question? She said, of course. And why? Yeah, okay. See, this again, another one of my problems. You know, if you're not good at grammar, see, texting shouldn't be one of your number one means of communicating. Because a lot of times people respond to me and I'm trying to read their message. I don't even understand. And this is the reason so many messages are misconstrued and so much misunderstandings come about, because people choose to text all the time instead of talking on the phone. Okay. So I respond, I say, why do you think that there is so much disparity and animosity between Black men and women? Her response was this. Now, you're going to laugh at this, and as some people say, I can't make this shit up, okay? I actually do not know what you're talking about. I sent you a message and said good morning and blessings and on your journey to find love and too far away. And she said something here that I don't understand. Where is this coming from? You have a blessed day. And I posed this question: why are you so defensive? I just asked a simple question. Now, as I go into the dialogue before she blocked me, I asked her, I said, well, I don't understand why you got so defensive. I asked you, could I ask you a question? I didn't just ask without your consent. So why did you get so defensive? So my reason for sharing this with you is for two reasons. The texting thing, everybody is not on the same academic level. So you know, if you don't have a literary arts or English degree, I don't even think you should be texting, because you don't know how to compose sentences. You don't know how to use proper grammar, proper punctuations, pronouns, nouns, you added adjectives, you name it. You're just texting, trying to keep up with your thoughts. It's so far left that it don't even make sense. Instead of being basic and saying, well, you know what, me and this guy text for a day. I like the way he expressed himself. Well, let me give him my number. But I understand a lot of you women use this excuse. Well, I got to get to know you first before I give you a number, because I've had people stalk me. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this stalking thing, right? I think as a man, I've had more women stalk me than men stalk certain women. And a lot of these women, if you put them on a rating system, they're no more than 4 or 5, and in their mindset, they're 10s, and that they're goddesses, that people just have to go out their way. But here's the thing: you have all these programs, Text Me and Google Text and all this stuff, so you can always get people numbers that they can't contact you directly unless it's through this particular link. I think the reason a lot of women don't choose to talk on the phone, for one, you can't articulate very well. So a man looking at your picture, if he's a valued man, I'm not saying a high valued man, but if he's a valued man, has his shit in check, okay, right off the cuff, he's gonna see you're just another pretty face. And if his intent is not to just lay you down, then he won't even waste his time. Okay? Get daddy a few minutes, get up on the bed. And so a lot of you, both women and men, are hiding things. Okay, a lot of you are in relationships, and I don't know who came up with this thought to use this word. Oh, it's complicated. What's complicated? You're laying down every night sucking some nigga's penis? Or you're diving between some woman's legs? Because I don't think a lot of men use that word complicated. They lie and say they're not in a relationship and can be married. But when women say it's complicated, stop. Because you're personifying this image that you want a man to meet these high standards when you're down here, you're at the bottom, and you want a man up here. Basically, what you're doing is you're in a sinking ship based on your choices in life, and you want a person to throw you a life raft. And see, here's the thing. We're not doing that anymore. And I encourage men not to do that. If women are going to try to date you or us based on what we have, then you go out and get yours, and then you come to the table, and then we'll talk. But don't come to the table talking about you're the table, because if you're the table, you're that IKEA table, that Walmart table. You're not that Walker table or that Ashley table. So stop. You're looking for a lifeline because you're lazy. I'm talking about both men and women. You're lazy, and you're what I call degenerates. You see other people with something. You don't know what they sacrificed, what blood, sweat, and tears they had to shed in order to get that. All you know is you want it, and you're going to put out these unrealistic demands to get up or be a part of it. Ain't happening. Had a friend of mine today, not going to mention her name, and this is a lady I can consider my friend that lives in another state. She texts me and we talked for a minute, and I told her that I was on my way to take a couple of trips, and she was like, "Well, who you going with? Your girlfriend or your wife?" Now she knows that I'm single. And see, this is the unrealistic things that I'm talking about, the reindeer games that people play. Okay, now I know she didn't mean any harm by it because she don't know. Maybe I could be dating someone at this time. But instead of her picking up the phone and us having adult, realistic conversation, she's probing through texting. And when I told her where I was going, most people, when you think about the Caribbean and you think about Hawaii, you think about couples going on dates, romantic dates and stuff like that. But why can't men, single men and women take trips on their own? Why do you have to always be in a couple setting or environment? You don't. I like to take trips by myself. Okay. And when I told her this, she was like, "Well, I can't see going by myself. I need to go with somebody." Well, I don't need nobody to be on my hip when I go out to venture in the world. I need to explore and learn things in the world on my own. I understand a woman don't want to go in foreign countries and stuff by herself because of certain fears. That's understandable. But me being a man, I don't share those fears. Okay. My point being this, again, we're going to have to start campaigning. We're going to have to start having these conversations, whether we want to or not. Let's make this mindset that exists today a thing of the past. Let's start telling both men and women, come on, you got to get on board. I know where you live. I know how much money you make. I see the car you drive every day. Why do you think someone's going to throw you a life raft from a lavish lifestyle just because you have a big ass and a pretty smile? When there's millions of women out there that's got just as much money as they do, and they still don't want to mess with them. So what makes you think you're going to jump up in that high echelon because you went and got some tracks on, got some braces on, got your tits lift up, your butt jacked up, you know, and these shots or whatever these injections are to get your stomach flat, and then you run into the gym with these spandexes on, making people think you worked out to get that. Come on, stop. I see it every day. I'm on my way to the gym, in fact, in a few minutes, and I sit here with my headphones on, and I look at these women, particularly these Hispanic women. Granted, some of them may be built like that naturally, but the majority of them, I just look at them and I smile. And I said, you can't possibly think everybody in here believe that you worked out to get that way. No. Me, I worked out to get this way. This is not steroids. This is not creatine. This is not none of that shit. It's consistency, going to the gym, staying on a certain diet when I choose to be on one, eating healthy, resting, and doing what I'm supposed to do, and keeping all those pollutants and toxins out my body. So again, I implore you, all of you that's listening, Quincy, Kane, Country, you know, Jackie, Mike, everybody that's listening, let's start preaching this to these unrealistic people out here in our world, because they're trying to create an unrealistic world that I can't live in. Get you a good woman. Get you a good man. Put it in the pot. Don't just keep sticking your hand in the pot. Put something in the pot. The pot is in the house. We can all flourish if we put in together. It's not about me. It's not about me providing for you and you run off on the whim or the cuff and do what you want to do. If you can't contribute to this household, deuces. Get out there with some simp, a sucker that's going to play that role and provide for you when you're not doing anything for him. Life is about bartering, give and take. If all you're doing is taking and you're not giving anything, why the hell do I want to invest my time and energy in you? I don't. So let's start advocating for getting back to basics. You know, let's start seeing more people depart. Granted, it's hot as hell out there now. You know, when the fall and springtime come, it's nice. You know, I wish I can find a lady that have basic requirements where we can go to the park. Or I found some places like in Moapa where they got this lake that where it stays the temperature stays 80-something degrees all year round. Simple things. We ain't got to go to no Hawaii. We ain't got to go to no Dubai. Not unless you putting in half on it. If you're not, come on, fellas. You know, every woman don't deserve to be treated like a queen. They don't, because they're not treating you and respecting you as a king. So if you're treating me as the town jester, I'm going to treat you like the common harlot, which you probably are. So if you come into my realm, into my castle, I am the king. And if you can't get with the king's program, then you got to get back out there on them streets. Quit throwing these people, both men and women, lifelines when they don't deserve it. If you want to drive a Lexus or a Mercedes-Benz, go and get a job to justify you driving that. Why do I have to buy it? If you don't respect me, if you're not playing your role, but you expect me to play my role based on your standards. No, it doesn't work like that. So as we move forward on this campaign, I will continue to advocate for dissolving the mindset and the ideology that men have to meet all these standards for degenerate women. Not ladies, not real women, but degenerate women that's down here and men are up here and they expect you to bring them up here and they don't bring nothing to the table other than tainted ass coochie. No. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Bring respect. Bring peace. Get rid of your combative ways. You can't challenge a man. You can't compete with men. We're not in this world to compete with each other. I either cherish you, you love me and appreciate me, or we stay apart. It's just that simple. Okay, I need your help to advocate to get back to the basics of things. All of you that's on tonight, go back and look at this. If you want to call me, in fact, let me do this real fast before I get off here because I'm on my way to the gym. That's my number. That's my real number right there. That's no text number. That's no Google number. None of that fake shit. That's my real cell number that I've had for the last 10 years. Contact me, reach out. Let's talk about this. Let's put on programs. You can come on the show, do whatever you want to do. Let's start advocating for getting back to the basics where men are truly being providers for women. Women are appreciating, respecting men for who they are, not for what they're demanding them to be. And if they can't be, then fuck them. Because what they won't do, some woman out there will do. It's just that simple. And if you're not bringing anything to the table, to my table, other than ass and demands, you're not even welcome in my house. It's that simple. And I say this from my heart with all the passion that I can muster. If you're not bringing anything to the table, and all you comics, comedian women, oh, I am the table. Can't even spell table. I gave you woods, some saws, and some screws. You couldn't even conjure up the thought to build the table, let alone talk about you are the table. See, people need to get out of that mindset of being so ignorant and think because you say something that sounds so good and people champion on that bullshit that you be talking about, that it's okay. And that's what you propagate day in and day out until you run into someone that's real, that's about it. And I'm talking about both men and women. Then you get defensive when a person challenges that bullshit that you're on. And I don't mean a man has to be disrespectful. A man don't have to be condescending, degrading. All he has to do is question why you believe what you believe. And I can guarantee you, if you guys and you women start doing this to these people that's running around here being supported and being championed by these foolish ideologies and unrealistic expectations, I guarantee you they won't be your friend. They'll never speak to you again, because you're exposing them for what they truly are, nothing. You're expecting something that you're not willing to give. And if you're not willing to give, then you don't deserve to even be at the table. A man comes, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to bring this to a close. I have to get to this gym. If I bring to you a proposition, I've been to your apartment, I've been to your house, I see how you living. You've been to my house. You see how I'm living. You don't know my finances because I haven't showed you my bank statements. And if you've been in my wallet, you did it without my consent when I was asleep. Okay, so if I ever found that out, that would be a problem. Okay, but if I bring a proposal to you, proposition, well, we seem to have this kinship. Why don't we do a merger? I can come here, lease mine, however you choose to do it. And let's do this thing 50-50. Any woman that's not willing to consider that, then let her ass keep paying 100%. And the same thing with a man. See, because if I'm paying 100% now, which I am, and I'm talking about my bills every month is between 4 and 5 G's. If I had a woman that was making just as much money as me or more, and we went on the 50-50 thing, can you imagine how much money I would save and the things I can do, the investments I can make for the benefit of our family? See, because men don't think like women do. When we make money, we want to share. We want our woman to share. We want to go out and buy you gifts and do things for the kids. No, when you get shit, you want to go out and spend money on your girlfriend's weed. Go to clubs and spend $1,000 on a bottle of champagne that probably only costs $50 to make. So your economics is not in queue. So again, I champion all you and suggest and promote and advocate for this for all of you that's listening tonight. Okay? Let's start telling these people, both women and men, get out of that mindset. Shit is just like bell bottoms. It's going out of style. You either going to get on board with this 50-50 thing or 60-40, 70-30, however it go. As long as it's balanced and it works out for the benefit of the family, that's all you should be concerned about. So with that being said, I thank each and every one of you for tapping in today. My son is still working on my system. We're going to put up, just to give you a heads up, we're going to put up the donations, the likes, the subscribe buttons, because I'm going to keep putting my number up here for those of you that don't like to be on a public setting. You want to call me for personal advice about relationships, but please understand this. I do not sugarcoat anything. I would tell you I will not blow sunshine up your ass, neither man or woman. I will not be degrading, condescending, or disrespectful, but I'm going to tell you how it is. With respect and love. So if you're willing to get advice, and I'm 62 years old, I've been around the corner. I know a lot of things I don't know. So those of you that have trauma, if I can't help you, I can refer you to a therapist. But what I'm going to do from this day forward is we're going to start doing a Q&A. People, please use the scan button to link in. You know, the comments are fine. I love them, but I need more participants. You know, yeah, I can talk all day, but I would like to get your perspectives also. Okay. I am very passionate about this. I'm not going to stop. I don't care how many of you naysayers write your comments or whatever you say. I'm not going to stop. Okay. Just like you can go on social media and listen to that bullshit, you can listen to some real shit if you're real. Okay. So with that being said, hit the scan bar. My number's on the screen. I'll be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp, unless something happened. Like I said, my son is putting everything together. Here's the thing. I'm saying this live. All the donations that I gather is to create programs to help get people onto a better perspective about life and relationships. If I have to use a part of the donations to get special guests on, I will. But I will not use the donations to get pretty faces just to come on camera to sit there so somebody can look at their weaves and their eyelashes. No, that won't happen. Okay? And none of the donations am I taking, and the way my son is setting it up, you can see the donations, the total amounts, and I will even show you at your request where the money is being spent. Unlike a lot of these podcasts, they don't. Okay, I'm not trying to go out. I got a nice truck. I got nice furniture. My whole house is furnished. You know, I don't need no more blings than this. You know, I don't wear all that shit because it's not impressive to me. Okay, so please help support this channel by advocating for getting back to basics and getting off this unrealistic track that both men and women have put out there they advocate for when it comes to relationships. No, you don't live in the projects and get no man that's driving a Rolls Royce. It don't happen. Where has it ever happened in history? Coming back to America is not a realistic show. Okay? So if you want something good, you want something real, then you got to be willing to invest that same thing that you're asking for. Please take care. I'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless you. Be safe out there. And remember, anything that you can dream, you can attain in life, as long as you know in your heart, your intentions and your intent is good, it will always manifest. God will give you the endurance, the knowledge, the strength, and the power to make it become a reality. With that being said, please take care. I love you all. God bless you. Take care. See you tomorrow, 8 p.m.